Welcome to this edition of Inside Fall River. And today we're going to be talking about smoking and why you shouldn't be smoking. And there'll be various perspectives during the course of the full program. Co-hosting with Wendy Goff-Lipp, and Wendy will be joining us for the second half of our program. But for this half of the program, I want to welcome our guest, Alice Ribello, who's project manager, and Jack Shibley, who's wellness educator. Both are with South Coast Healthy Housing and Workplace Initiative, an initiative that we're going to learn about during the course of this interview. So why don't we begin, Alice, by telling us what is the South Coast Healthy Housing and Workplace Initiative, and we have an acronym, SHWI? SHWI.
For short, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell us about SHWI.
So last year, sometime last year, there was word that a grant was available through the offices of the United States Centers for Disease Control Office of Chronic Disease Prevention. And the grant was a $2 million grant that would afford a local agency to put together a workforce, if you will, of staff who would be educated on the education and prevention of tobacco control, on the implementation of policies. And this grant would be awarded to provide the services across the region, which would be Fall River, New Bedford, and Wareham, where the incidence of smoking is at the highest in the state, as well as the secondhand smoking exposure, which is also highest in the state. So that being said, YMCA South Coast was in a good position to apply for this grant, but needed a coalition. And so the coalition worked through Voices for a Healthy South Coast. And Voices for a Healthy South Coast came about 2 years ago, again, through another grant to work on cancer prevention. And part of the coalition were the City of Fall River, Partners for a Healthier Community, St. Anne's Hospital, STAR, a number of other agencies across the region that came together to work on cancer prevention. And so we were very fortunate that the YMCA South Coast was awarded the $2 million grant. We are one of 40 in the nation. So again, we're very proud that we are.
Excellent. So the YMCA serves then, YMCA South Coast serves as the key provider.
Correct, the lead
agency. And then it has the various partners, including, you mentioned St. Anne's Hospital, as well as South Coast Hospital?
As well as South Coast Hospitals Group, as well as the City of Fall River. So those are the major partners with SHWI, not just with Voices. Mm-hmm. The major partners of SHWI are South Coast Hospitals and Partners for a Healthy Fall River.
Great, and that gives us a little bit about the history, but tell us a little bit about more about Voices, what that is, and specifically something called the HEAL program.
Correct. So Voices is the coalition that applied for the $2 million grant, which again enabled us to form SHWI, South Coast Healthy Housing and Workplace Initiative. Part of our work is not only on tobacco cessation, tobacco control, and policy development, but it's also on healthy eating, active living, and so the acronym becomes HEAL. Mm-hmm. We find that if people change their lifestyle, if people start to feel better about themselves and look better about themselves, particularly those that are smoking, they are more than likely going to contemplating quitting smoking because they've already made the change about the healthier lifestyle. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, for some of the smokers that we hope to work with and currently work with, if once they quit smoking, their biggest fear becomes what happens if I put on weight, and I know I'm going to put on weight. So we then develop a program for them with Healthy Eating, Active Living, where we teach behaviors in terms of what it is that you're eating, how much you're eating, and when you're eating, and becoming active in their own lifestyle so that it minimizes the weight gain. And again, they start to feel better about themselves and will maintain quits because they feel better about themselves.
Yeah, well, that makes absolute sense. And And Jack, I understand that your focus is primarily Fall River. There is a counterpart in Wareham and also in New Bedford that does what you do. But tell us a little bit about what you do and how the Fall River community has been responding to what you do.
Well, what I'm doing right now, I am, bottom line, educating. I'm educating the community. My primary focus is the housing facilities here in Fall River, and I'm trying to bring wellness groups into the facilities because some people have difficulty getting out of the facility to go to a clinic or an exercise group, whatever. So my main focus is reaching out to the property managers of the housing facilities and bringing wellness groups to the facilities. And we've already started. We've actually, the O'Brien Apartments at 85 Morgan Street, we've already have smoking cessation classes going, as well as an exercise group. In other facilities, we have, we're about to begin a diabetic group. You know, there was a majority of the people that arrived at the intra-group right at the beginning, many of them were diabetic or were borderline, so we decided we're going to try to create a diabetic education group in that facility. So mostly it's education, community outreach and education.
And when focusing on housing, are you focusing primarily on public housing facilities or also private housing facilities?
The main focus is public, but we are reaching out to other housing facilities in the community too. I'm trying not to limit what I'm doing. The way the grant is written, that is my main focus. But with networking, I will try to bring everybody involved as much as we can.
Excellent. We're going to ask you at some point to give out phone numbers and email addresses, and we'll also be showing those addresses and phone numbers on the screen. But tell us some of the successes that, and either of you can answer this, some particular successes that you've seen since the program has begun.
Well, in terms of public housing and in terms of what it is our major focus on is the implementation of smoke-free policies. And New Bedford Housing Authority will be completely smoke-free January 1st, 2014.
So they're a bit ahead of the Fall River situation at the moment.
A little ahead of the Fall River Housing Authority, yes, because they had already thought of going smoke-free prior to the grant, and so with us coming on board, and we do have other health educators in the community that whose job is similar to Jack's, and so by us providing the technical assistance and the resources, they were able to look at adopting, and they will be adopting and implementing January 2014. So again, that's probably one of our biggest successes.
Great. And I anticipate, do you have a time frame when you hope to see Fall River at that point?
We don't have a time frame of Fall River, although I must say Fall River has been tremendously supportive to our program, particularly on Jack's initiatives, and I'll let Jack speak to that a little bit more. But there isn't a date set yet for Fall River Housing Authority for the implementation, but it's baby steps, and right now Jack's focus is on the education of what it is that secondhand smoke exposure is, and providing that cessation resource to the residents.
What about enforcement? I mean, I own real estate, and I actually have a number of the apartments that I have is smoke-free, pet-free. I always promote them. I ask every tenant that moves in, are you assuredly smoke-free and pet-free? And inevitably down the road, there's somebody smoking in the house, whether it's guests or whether it's the tenants themselves. How do you prevent people from doing what they wish to do within the confines of their own apartment?
Well, first of all, backtracking to the housing facility, we're just beginning here, so there hasn't been any real talk of actually enforcing, non-smoking in public housing. There's no talk whatsoever. As far as enforcing, it's going to take a community to enforce.
And self-enforcement. I mean, ultimately,
Exactly.
Correct.
It's through education and people just realizing it's the right thing to do.
And there are other multi-unit family homes who have implemented the non-smoking policy, and it's pretty much self-enforcement. People will tell on each other. You know, neighbor will. And again, it's about compliance. It's about people assimilating to a change. And nobody likes change, really. But we have not received any word that people did not go by the rules. And so
So it sounds like those are some of the challenges. Are there other challenges that are being faced as you proceed?
well, some of the, and again, Jack can speak a little bit more to it, but some of the challenges are from the long-term smokers who believe this is their right to smoke, and we have to let them know that under the United States Constitution, there is no right to smoke. It's not a protected right. However, someone who has a compromised health condition, their rights are protected under the American with Disability Act, just to mention a few, and under the Reasonable Accommodation Act, where if someone has asthma or some sort of COPD and they live next door to a smoker, and these are things that we teach, not that we hope to enforce, not that we are pushing any agenda. Our agenda is very simple. It's just pure education.
And health.
And
It seems like certainly the rights of a smoker need to be weighed against the rights of the people who are not smokers to be able to breathe fresh air.
Exactly.
exactly.
Now we are wrapping down, just a couple of minutes, things move fast, but you've given us a sense of how SHWE has made an impact thus far. What do you see in your future? What are the kinds of things that are important to your effort as we proceed?
Well, as we told the Centers for Disease Control when we put together the grant application what it is that our goal, what our deliverables are. So in terms of a grant perspective, our deliverables are very clear. We need to put together a plan that will enable, once we're no longer here, that will enable entities such as other housing authorities throughout the state, particularly in this region, but other multi-unit homes, employer sites that can implement smoke-free policies. That's our goal. We did say we were going to do this, and by year 2 we would have an additional 5 buildings, and right now we've actually surpassed that. We're very fortunate that we have other property managers working with us in the 3 regions, particularly in the city of New Bedford and in Wareham, but we also have employers that, again, are looking to improve the health of their employees.
Excellent. Jack, any closing comments? And I'd like you particularly to give your information as to how people can contact you here in Fall River for more information.
Well, for more information, you can contact me via telephone, which is 508-673-3097. And that's my personal office number, and I can give resources to anybody who wishes.
Okay, and if they want to reach you by email?
jshipley@ymcasouthcoast.org.
Okay, and we will be projecting this on the screen.
Excellent.
So people can follow up. And if they wish to reach you, how do people get to you?
They can reach me by calling my office number. I'm located at the YMCA South Coast in New Bedford, and that's 508-996-9622, extension 20. And by email, which I absolutely enjoy working via email, which I can access anytime, and Jack and I know this, and as well as my staff, we can access at any time. And that's arabello@ymcasouthcoast.org.
And Rebello with one L.
And Rebello's with one L.
Very good. Well, we want to thank you for joining us today on this edition of Inside Fall River. And we look forward to more focus on good, healthy habits that you can get into in order to make your life better. Thank you.
South Coast Healthy Housing and Workplace Initiative works to create better breathing communities by supporting smoke-free environments at home, at work, and at play, while promoting healthy eating and active living. For more information, visit www.shwe.org.
Welcome back to Inside Fall River. I'm Wendy Garflip from United Neighbors. Today with me is Marilyn Edge. Welcome, Marilyn.
Thank you.
Marilyn is the director of the Western Bristol County and Foxborough Tobacco and Alcohol Prevention Collaborative. Quite a mouthful there.
It all fits on a card.
But we're going, in keeping with the theme that Steve just finished with, talking about tobacco and the dangers of tobacco, Marilyn has some show and tell for us today. So we're going to start off with, what is smokeless tobacco, Marilyn?
Well, several years ago, if you said to someone smokeless tobacco, they would think chewing tobacco and dip. But you would know when someone was using those because they would be constantly spitting either into a bottle of water or an empty soda can or something like that.
So that's the stuff you put in your mouth and you chew? Is
Right,
that how it
chewing
works?
tobacco.
And the nicotine comes through the chewing?
Right. So, and those products make you more susceptible to oral cancer, cancer of the esophagus. And they're mostly used by athletes. Now, when you say smokeless tobacco, it's all smokeless and spitless. So we have the snus products that are, snus products? That's right? That are little pouch-like packages. They're like tea bag packages that have tobacco in them. The Camel has a product, Marlboro has a product, General Snus has a product, and they're these little tea bag pouches of tobacco, and you put it in your mouth and in your upper or lower lip, and it interacts with your saliva the same way chewing tobacco does. Instead of having to spit all of that saliva, you swallow all of that.
So what are you swallowing?
So you're swallowing the tobacco, the nicotine flavors, and your saliva.
So how is this, why don't you spit this though?
Because now you don't have to.
Is it because it tastes okay, or?
I don't think it tastes any better. I mean, I've never done chewing tobacco, so I
imagine, right.
I don't know. But these snus products come in flavors. This one is robust.
Oh, this is mellow. I see this one is
mellow.
mellow. Oh,
Right.
lovely. Right. Yeah.
Marlboro, Camel came out with this first, and then Marlboro came out with a similar package. Only now the Marlboro snus looks like this, where it looks like a can of chewing tobacco, but it's still the same product inside. It's still the pouches. They work the same way.
And snus, S-N-U-S,
US.
what does that stand for?
No,
it's just a word that they've
that's
invented.
just the name of the product. General Snus is a Swedish imported higher-end snus. Comes in a can, similar to the Marlboro. They have a variety of flavors, though, in the General. And the disturbing thing to me is that with the General Snus, this flavor in this can is called white. Now, I don't know what white is supposed to be, but that's the flavor, white. Anywhere you can buy the General Snus, you can buy these smaller, they're called trial packs. And in the trial pack are 4 separate envelopes. Each envelope is a different flavor. There's 4 pieces of product in each one. There's wintergreen and mint. There's also a coupon.
This is dry mini mint.
Yep.
This one.
Also a coupon for $2.50 off the purchase of your next can. So the idea is you try the different samples, pick which flavor you like, and then purchase a can. The problem with these is that this trial pack is $1.99 for 16 pieces of product. So as long as your store still has trial packs left, anybody can just continue to go in and buy the trial packs for $1.99 instead of spending the $6
And
on a can.
this is about $6 for the can.
Yeah.
Now, I do notice that the warnings are different. This one says, smokeless tobacco is addictive.
Mm-hmm.
This one says, this product is not a safe alternative to cigarettes, as
Right.
if there is a safe alternative to cigarettes.
Yeah. According to this, the normal use is each piece 15 to 60 minutes. So it would be similar to gum or mints, keeps the flavor for that long. And then you discard it and start again. These products are all marketed for people who can't use tobacco where they work, can't use it where they go to school. And
Or
it's
soon where they live, if they
and
live
soon
in,
where
right.
they live, it's becoming increasingly difficult to be able to control who's using it when. Because like I said, when somebody's using chewing tobacco and dip, you know, because they're constantly spitting. With this, you don't know.
So it looks like they're chewing gum.
Or cough drops or whatever. I mean, I chew cough drops all the time, and no one's ever said to me, what is that? And what I say to when I do faculty and staff educational meetings is when my kids were little and now my grandkids are little, and I would go like this, what is that? Well, I'm not doing that at the high school
Right.
to some kid.
Right. You put your hand out and they spit it into your hand. Right. You're
Right.
not doing that. Right.
So those are the snus products. Those we came upon a few years ago. They were the first smokeless, spitless product. And then we had these Arriva. We found these Arriva at Rite Aid. They're dissolvable tobacco tablets. And for about the first year, they were marketed in a box like this. This is coffee flavored. They looked like boxes of cold medicine. So, but they're actually dissolvable tobacco tablets.
And how long does this keep you? I mean, does it satisfy your craving if you're a smoker?
I don't know any smokers that have used it. The instructions on the package tell you do not chew and do not swallow whole.
So if you can't chew it and you can't swallow it whole, how do
That
you
it says
adjust it?
all tobacco products, including Arriva, contain nicotine, an addictive substance. So we had these packages for about the first year of this product, that this product was on the market. And then some genius that works for the tobacco industry decided that they weren't getting the market that they were looking for. So they changed their
Looks like
packaging.
gum. Look at
So
that.
it looks like this.
Looks like Dentyne
And
gum,
this one
right?
is wintergreen flavored, and this other one is cinnamon flavored. They're still dissolvable tobacco tablets. These were $5 when I bought these. They're much cheaper than that now. They still carry these at Rite Aid, in the Rite Aids that can carry tobacco, because it is a tobacco product. It is a restricted product. You're supposed to have an ID to purchase. The nicotine equivalent for one tablet is 3 to 6 cigarettes.
Wow. So it says on the back, place one piece between cheek and gum and allow to dissolve. Gives you the pleasure of cigarettes without the smoke or odor. Imagine no boundaries. Tobacco you can enjoy anytime, anywhere.
Right.
Then it says, as with any other tobacco product, some users may experience temporary dizziness, heartburn, or nausea.
Lovely.
Yeah,
I'll take 2.
yeah.
So we found out about the dissolvable tobacco tablets. Stonewall is also another brand that we've seen mostly at Hess. We found out about the dissolvable tobacco tablets from Poison Control Center. Sent out a nationwide blast several years ago to all the departments of public health that they were seeing adults in the emergency rooms with nicotine poisoning in their test market areas in Indiana and in Illinois, which is where most of the test markets are for tobacco. And the reason for that is if you are a smoker and you leave your office once in the morning for a 15-minute break, you might get 2 cigarettes in at lunch, another one in the afternoon, you might get 4 cigarettes in over the course of a workday. If you're sitting at your desk eating these cinnamon-flavored Arriva like M&Ms, you're going to end up in the emergency room with nicotine poisoning from 3 to 6 cigarettes per tablet.
Right. So even if you follow your schedule of the 10 o'clock break, the lunchtime,
Right.
the after lunchtime, and the 3 o'clock break, you can conceivably be getting the amount of tobacco that you would in 24 cigarettes.
Exactly.
A lot.
Exactly.
It's 2.5
So-
packs, right?
So this other product that I want to show you is a Nico Gel product. I carry these around when I do all kinds of educational programming. Nico Gel is a nicotine-based hand gel. So it goes on like hand sanitizer.
This?
Yeah. You absorb the nicotine through your skin. It comes either in boxes of 10 like this for $2.49, which was the last time I bought it at 7-Eleven. Or you can buy them individually, and they look like wet naps.
Right.
So you open it like you would a handy wipe, a wet nap, and you absorb the nicotine through your skin. You put it on like hand sanitizer, absorbs the nicotine through your skin. the questions we've been getting from a lot of parents is how long does that stay on your skin before you pick up your child?
Oh, and does it
And
transfer?
there's a transfer.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Or you shake hands with someone
Right.
who's been using the Nico Gel product.
Now, does this satisfy the urging for a cigarette?
It says one application lasts for hours. If you want to try it, you can have one. I'll let you try one.
Okay, let's see.
I haven't. This is also a tobacco product, so you're supposed to need an ID. It's disgusting.
Oh, it smells disgusting. Let's start with that. It feels like jelly.
Yep. It says rub contents into hands until gel is gone.
Oh, it's gross. And I
When-
didn't even use the whole packet.
When Wendy keels over
Yeah. Oh,
from the effects of the nicotine
Okay.
she's not used to,
not happy about this
I'll call
at all.
911.
Okay.
So that's the Nico Gel product. And then I brought some hookah pens and disposable hookah, just so you could see for those of folks, because this is a hot topic item now. Hookah pens and disposable hookah look like e-cigarettes. You hold them like e-cigarettes. They even light up. The tips light up green.
Oh, like a cigarette? Yeah.
Like a cigarette would when you light it. And you, actually, if you just press the button, it shows it's green. There's a little red tab that once you pull it off, you have access to the nicotine. The cartridges are nicotine, just like e-cigarettes. They're varying levels of nicotine. With the e-hookah and the hookah pens, you can't regulate those. One of these is supposed to be equivalent to an entire pack of cigarettes. But they're more expensive in most places than cigarettes. These disposable hookah, this one was $10, but it's chocolate mint flavored, so if you're into all the flavors, they're all flavored, fruit candy and alcoholic beverage flavors. The warning on
The
that
warning,
is
this product
what
contains
got to me.
chemicals known to the state of California to cause cancer, birth defects, or other reproductive harm. You must be of legal smoking age, depending on your state's law, to purchase or use our products. Nicotine is an addictive substance. This product has not been approved by the U.S. FDA as a cessation device. Well, Marilyn, we're coming to the end of our broadcast, and I'd like to say it's been a delight, but it's pretty disgusting to see all of this.
It's pretty scary, especially with the hookah. You know, hookah's a big deal now. There's 8 or so hookah bars in Providence. An hour of shared hookah is equivalent to smoking 100 cigarettes.
It says that this one does 600 puffs before it runs out. So before we wrap up, I know you're available to come to organizations and speak.
Absolutely.
How do we reach you? Can you give us a website and a phone number?
Don't have a website, but
Okay,
I can
phone
give you
number?
a phone number. The office phone number is 508-324-2423. You can leave a message for me. We cover 13 territories. I'm not in Fall River every day, but we do answer the phone. We do check our messages.
Thank you very much. I have to go wash my hands. It's been a delight to be here. Wendy Garflip, Inside Fall River, Marilyn Edge, Western Bristol County and Foxborough Tobacco and Alcohol Prevention Collaborative.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the show.